In today's Leeds news, behind the scenes moments at Norwich, new look midfield, under 21s deliver, free agent options, and Leeds watching Port Vale Starlet. Morning folks, Jer here on Wednesday morning, the 2nd of October. Into October already, it's crazy. With your Leeds United news, hope you're having a good week so far. Weird night last night. The more I've thought about it, just a weird game of football. But I did want to give one shout out that we didn't really talk about in the review last night, and that's to Willie Gnonto. His second man of the match performance back to back, and an excellent performance from him. He was involved in everything that Leeds did. I did say that last night without actually going into any major detail on what he did, but he very, very good last night for Leeds United. So yeah, well done to Willie. We've got a little bit of stuff to crack into, some of the stuff from behind the scenes of what happened last night, as well as some information we can expect to see from Leeds going into the Sunderland game on Friday night and the next couple of weeks for Leeds United. But we'll start with the behind the scenes at Norwich last night. Baron Cross has done his weekly behind the scenes piece for Leeds Live today, looking at moments that the cameras didn't catch. And there's some interesting moments in this. Didn't all work out particularly well, but there's some interesting moments in it. Mateo Joseph was one seen having an extensive conversation with the Leeds United sideline while Ilya Gruev was down injured just before Josh Sargent's converted penalty for Norwich. At that moment in time, Kenny McLean had the ball in his hand, and you would imagine that Daniel Farke probably thought that McLean was going to take the penalty. You should have known better by this stage with that old trick. He doesn't take it, he hands it to Sargent, who converts the penalty. Meslier just starts to go the other way when it gets put that way, and it's, yeah, possibly could have done better with his foot, but it's a penalty. You're not expected to save them. You'd like to see them saved every now and then, but they're not expected to be saved. But that was one. It didn't matter in the end. Then Daniel Farke came in for a little bit of abuse from the Norwich City home fans, despite the calls from their current manager, Thorup, who had said that the manager deserves respect after what he had achieved for Norwich City's 2 Premier League promotions for the club. But the shine from the Norwich City fans seems to have gone off Daniel Farke completely. After the initial applause, there were boos towards Daniel Farke from the section of the Norwich City fans. And then in the second half, when Farke was booked for arguing about a corner kick given against Leeds, chants from the Norwich City fan base of "sit down and shut up" rang around Carrow Road. So I think Daniel Farke's glory years at Norwich are very much behind him now, and they have moved on with him now as a Leeds United manager. It's not sitting particularly well with them, but well, we'll see how it turns out for us with him, won't we? Now moving on to midfield, and with Ethan Ampadu likely to be out until the new year, possibly even longer, and Ilya Gruev's injury last night described by Daniel Farke as not good. Leeds are looking pretty light in the middle of midfield, but we did get to see a new looking central midfield partnership in Joe Rothwell and Tanaka. Tanaka is capable of sitting in that deeper lying 6 role that we saw last night if it's needed, because this is very much a more advanced central midfield pairing than we would have got with Gruev and Ampadu. But he can sit there if it's needed, as he did last night. And I thought both of them last night were very busy, very active, very interested in being on the ball and being involved in the game. And it was good to see there's more to come from that partnership, absolutely, because they'll need time to get used to each other. But encouraging stuff last night. Tanaka was the standout last night, composed on the ball, very, very busy, wanting the ball all the time. And only 2 players have completed more passes in their debut for Leeds United in a championship season, and that was Ethan Ampadu and Joe Rodon last season for Leeds. Tanaka completing 59 passes last night, and not all sideways and backwards, a lot of them were forward as well. He did stand out. He had 89% pass accuracy last night, 59 of his 66 passes found their mark, 6 recoveries from his defensive aspect of his game, along with 6 defensive actions, 5 duels won in the 50-50s, 4 passes into the final third of the pitch, and won 2 of his 3 dribbles and 2 of his 3 tackles, and a partridge in a pair 3 for Tanaka. But he was very, very good last night. Joe Rothwell also beside him in the middle of the park, constantly busy, always looking for the ball, wanting to go forward as often as he could. Got a bit over the top at times. Maybe some of the passing was a little bit sloppy just from over eagerness, but both of those players together now will have some amount of time to form a partnership and maybe relax into those roles and not have to try and do something in a short cameo to make an impression. They've got some time now, and I'm looking forward to seeing what a more advanced looking central midfield partnership for Leeds would look like versus the midfield partnership of Gruev and Ampadu, which was just really nicely finding its groove as the season was going on. Groove, unfortunately, pun unintended. But yeah, moving on to some good news from the 21s last night. A very good night at the office for them as they went away to Boston United in the Northern League Cup. A 4-3 away win for Leeds last night. It helps them in the group stages. Goals from Harvey Vincent, Alfie Creswell and 2 goals from in-form Luca Thomas were enough to get Leeds the win in that game. Luca Thomas also voted as the under-21 player of the month. Having a hell of a start of a season is Luca Thomas after his debut, or his unofficial debut for Leeds United in pre-season against Harrogate and travelling with the squad. So very good news for Luca Thomas. He started the season on fire and long may that continue for him. With the Leeds injury situation in midfield last night, as I say, we are a little bit light down there and could probably do with some extra reinforcements between now and January at least, and we can reassess it to see if these are longer term injuries and will need Leeds to go into the transfer market. But over at the Yorkshire Post, Tom Coates has put together a nice little list of potential free available talent that Leeds could bring in to at least give them a little bit of cover in the short term. The first player that they have discussed is a veteran of the Championship, former Burnley central midfield player Jack Cork. He's 35 years of age now, would add a bit of experience, would be very much a cover player, very, very much, but might help in the dressing room. A bit of experience with a very young Leeds squad could add something there. Christoph Kramer, former player of Daniel Farkas at Borussia Mönchengladbach, slightly more flairish player, I suppose, but 33 now as well, but would add some experience in there if needed. Cheku Kouyaté, formerly of West Ham and Crystal Palace, and had a really bad spell at Nottingham Forest. He is also available as a free transfer, and you'd imagine he'd do reasonably well at Championship level should Leeds decide to make a move. And then the final one to consider is Francis Coquelin, formerly of Arsenal and Valencia. Still floating around, 33 years of age, all free agents, could be another option as well, but Leeds are very likely to stick with what they have right now and try and wait this out until January, hoping for no further injuries. The more likely approach will be Charlie Crew will fill in if needed. He was likely to play some minutes this year before Leeds went out and brought Joe Rothwell and out Tanaka in, so he could see more minutes this season. Brendan Aronson could drop into midfield as a number 8, more advanced number 8 if needed. Not ideal scenario, but there is some options there should Leeds need him. Or they could hope and just wait out the next 2 months, next 8 weeks, 9 weeks to see if Leeds can get to January or get to the 1st of January and see if they need some larger reinforcements coming into the run. And I would imagine, looking at Leeds right now, a number 9 and a centre mid will probably be a lone centre midfield, will likely be the ones on the shopping list for January. And then moving into the final story of today, and this is one of the current round of young player stories floating around in this in-between transfer window periods. And according to Team Talk, Leeds United, Stoke City and Norwich City are all among clubs' interest in Port Vale youngster Carl Agnero. Team Talk claim exclusively that these clubs are amongst a number of unnamed Premier League clubs who are scouting and closely monitoring the midfielder. The 16-year-old has made his first team debut for Port Vale this season, playing in the EFL Trophy game against Wolverhampton Wanderers under-21s, and has been getting rave reviews for his performances with the Wolverhampton Wanderers under-18s so far this season. The all-action midfielder, as he is described in this piece, is said to be a name that Leeds are very keen on as they look to add more reinforcements and restock the under-21 side after the ageing out of a lot of players last season and the promotion of the bulk of the under-18 squad. Leeds will want to add some more players to that group, as they've done in the past. Around that time, the time Leeds brought in Stroke, Meslier, Gelhardt, Greenwood. All those players come in around the same time as well. So Leeds are in that phase now for the under-21s and looking to bring in some extra players. And the midfielder has definitely caught the eye of a number of clubs and is seen as a prospect, a potential future star that Leeds could be interested in bringing into the club. It does state in this, if Leeds want them, they might have to move a little bit quicker than they thought they would have, with the interest in young UK talent at its height right now, and the price is likely to increase around the interest in young British talent. If Leeds do want a player like this to come into under-21s, they may have to move early, and they may have to pay a little bit more than they'd want to, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Folks, that'll be it for me today. We're back tonight with the live stream full panel review of the game last night, and I will talk to you then. Last night's review from me, under 10 minutes, is available down below. You can check that out if you want to. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.